So a little about me. I live on Long Lake in Lake County, Illinois, a water body that has produced documented cyanobacteria blooms since 1973. Not an honor we are happy to have. I was trained in freshwater algae identification, collection, and ecology in a 40-hour course with the late Dr. Ann St. Amand in 2021 at FICO Tech in St. Joseph, Michigan. Pictured on the left is the textbook from the class. There's Ann doing her life's work. And there's a picture of me and another one of my mentors, Jim Bland, doing a cyanobacteria sample. I have used my training to identify cyanobacteria blooms on Long Lake, to test for toxins, and to give the Lake community an early warning when the blooms are toxic. So we are not covering we are not covering causes of cyanobacteria blooms, mitigation of cyanobacteria blooms, or marine harmful algal blooms, even though I love seals. But what we will cover is how to visually identify a cyanobacteria bloom by eye. The microscopes are after lunch. How to collect a sample, cyanotoxins, testing for the most common cyanotoxin, microcystin, creating an early warning system for your lake, and how you can join a community of citizen scientists doing the same. And how you can be an activist by reporting your blooms to your elected officials. They don't know it's going on unless you tell them. And you can do that in a very friendly way. How did I get involved with green slimy things? So I was a long-time environmental activist. Here's a picture of me at some Sierra Club event. And then in 2016, a resident from Long Lake contacted us. Well, I had been working on closing a coal plant in Waukegan, and I worked on stopping the Route 53 extension being built through our wetlands. And then a Long Lake resident contacted the Sierra Club about pollution on Long Lake. And Long Lake, well, hey, that's where I lived. So yes, I am an accidental activist. I have a polluted backyard. It's my lake. We formed a group in 2017 called the, can't say the word, Creek Water Alliance, and now we are the Manitou Creek. You can guess what that word used to be. In 2018, our group brought Dr. Todd Miller down from the University of Wisconsin to speak to the lake residents about cyanobacteria blooms. And Dr. Miller told me that I could test for toxins at a cost of about $35 per test, and I was off and running. This is Ashley Weiss, my first intern when she was a high school freshman. She just graduated with her degree in environmental science from University of Minnesota. So I trained with Dr. Ann St. Amand, and then in 2022 I became the chair of the Sierra Club National Harmful Algal Blooms team. And we're always looking for members if you're interested. Then in 2023, here's Jim and I again, I won the 2023 Illinois Lakes Management Association Dick Hilton Watershed Stewardship Award. And then in this year, in 2025, the Sierra Club National Harmful Algal Blooms team was awarded $11,000 in grant money to put on these 3 workshops in Illinois, and also to begin a citizen science group you'll learn more about later. And I am currently employed by Zweek, a Singaporean company, and I'm teaching their artificial intelligence equipment to identify cyanobacteria. Yeah. And if you ever want to come, I'm about an hour and a half northwest of the city. Come on up, it's really cool.
Could you have brought the AI equipment?
Yeah, right. Oh, there we go. This is what it looks like. Cyanobacteria. I say potato, you say potato. Blue-green algae, harmful algal blooms or HABs. Cyanobacteria, harmful algal blooms or cyanoHABs. Cyanobacteria, harmful algal mats or cyanoHAMs, which I love that one, and you're going to hear more about that this afternoon. Friend or foe? Oh. So 3.5 million years ago, cyanobacteria were the only life form on Earth. This is supposed to be a picture of the primordial soup at that time. After some evolution, cyanobacteria learned how to take electrons from water, photosynthesize, and create a byproduct called oxygen. Without cyanobacteria, we would not have an atmosphere. It's kind of our grandmas, right? They are still simple, ancient, one-celled creatures with no nuclei or many other cell structures. They do have chlorophyll A and produce their own food through photosynthesis, like plants. They are in fresh water and salt water, in hot springs and under ice pack. They are in the soil and on desert rocks. They are part of healthy ecosystems, and they are not always toxic. So why do we care? First off, never let your dog swim in water that looks like this. Cyanobacteria blooms can produce toxins that kill pets, livestock, waterfowl, and humans. The biomass of a bloom can tank oxygen levels and cause fish kills. Our drinking water facilities need to test and treat for toxicity, taste, and odor. And they are everywhere: India, Africa, Europe, Australia. In fact, 70% of freshwater bodies in the United States are eutrophic, or over-fertilized and capable of producing harmful algal blooms. So what am I looking for? An algal bloom is loosely identified as a visible color change in the water. They can be green or blue-green, though toxic blooms can be brown or pink. There's poor visibility in the water, and there can be foul smells like musty or grassy or sewer-like. When in doubt, stay out. Here's a close-up of that last photo. Yes, there is visible color, but it is not a cyanobacteria bloom. The stick test shows us that this is duckweed. It's the world's smallest flowering plant. It is native, and of course, ducks love it. An overabundance of duckweed indicates a high nitrogen content in the water. It is not toxic, but too much will prevent sunlight from reaching the aquatic plants below. The lack of aquatic plants results in low oxygen for the fish, so it can disrupt an ecosystem, but it's not toxic, and it's not cyanobacteria. Here's another one: visible color change in the water, not cyanobacteria. This is water meal. It's a cousin of the duckweed, and they often occur together. Same as duckweed, it is native, but too much is not good for your ecosystem. Also, not cyanobacteria. The stick test shows a filamentous green algae with a little duckweed thrown in. Ooh, and there's some nice lily pads. Again, filamentous green algae is part of a healthy ecosystem, but too much can disrupt your ecosystem. in the same way duckweed and watermeal can, but it is not cyanobacteria. It is not toxic. This is the classic cyanobacteria bloom. They always say, look for spilled paint on the water. But you're going to see there's lots of other ways the cyanos present. With the end of my sampler, I'm able to pick up a little of the slime. Here's another bloom. You can see I had a hard time getting the slime on the stick. So what do you think this gorgeous mess is? Cyanobacteria or filamentous green algae? Or just gross, like, yeah. It's got a nice green color, kind of looks like spilled green paint, but you can see the filamentous algae on the end of the stick. This is both. So we had the filamentous green algae and then the cyanobacteria bloom washed in on top of it. When in doubt, stay out. Here's another possible failure of the stick test. Some cyanobacteria, such as this Micro-Sierra walleye, form these thick mats that can be confused with harmless filamentous green algae. Some things to look for: it is definitely three-dimensional, but it's not exactly filamentous. Also, these cyanomats can have some pretty awful putrid smells, while the filamentous green algae does not. And we're going to learn a lot more about this later this afternoon. Here's some more photos of what a cyanobacteria bloom looks like with the naked eye. They can be blue in color, green in color, red or purple. Check out that lake.
Where's that lake, the purple lake?
I didn't write down where that comes from, but that is, what's the name of it? I'm too nervous to remember, but that is, Planktochrix rubescens, and it can occur under the ice. So that's kind of my mission every winter as I'm walking out on the ice. Haven't found it yet. And then there's mat forming cyanobacteria blooms. Check out those floating balls in the corner. All right, we're going to switch over to cyanotoxins. First, cyanobacteria can produce over 100 known toxins, or cyanotoxins. The first family we'll cover is hepatotoxins. These disrupt proteins that keep the liver functioning. They can produce liver damage, liver tumors, potentially leading to liver failure or hypovolemic shock and death. They may act slowly, days to weeks or years. Microcystins are the most common hepatotoxins and have been found in the air above and near cyanobacteria blooms. They have even been found in the nostrils of people living near affected water bodies. Scientists are just beginning to study the long-term effects of living next to affected lakes. Family 2, neurotoxins can cause rapid paralysis of skeletal and respiratory muscles, sometimes meaning death in minutes. Dermatotoxins can produce rashes or other skin reactions, usually within hours. They also cause eye irritation and conjunctivitis and respiratory tract inflammation. Excitotoxins. The neurotoxin BMAA can be incorporated into cell proteins and can be an environmental trigger for ALS and other neurological diseases associated with protein misfolding, such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Irritant toxins are related to gastrointestinal problems, skin or eye irritation, and allergic reactions. Alert! All toxins become neurotoxins when present at a high enough level. Here's some genus of cyanobacteria and the toxins they present. Do we want to read these? No. All right, but you can see microcystin, that's the hepatotoxin. Oh, wait, all three of them. Nodularins, cylindrospermopsin, the neurotoxins, anatoxins, and saxitoxins, and on the end, dermatotoxins. I want you to notice that microcystins are the most common toxin. They're also the easiest to test for with field tests. Everybody see that? A little more on microcystin. This is the latest advisory published by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in 2015. Here's their website. Note that tiny red box at the bottom. There it is, bigger. You can see that the EPA recommends microcystin levels at or below 8 micrograms per liter for public health. So that's the level we're looking for when we're testing for microcystin. Now we're having some fun. Okay, so you have something in your lake that visually you're pretty sure is a cyanobacteria bloom. What if you're not certain? You can still do a toxin test. If your sample is toxic, well, you've got a bloom and you need to warn your neighborhood. When taking a sample, wear a face mask because the toxins can be in the air, as we've already discussed, and gloves because there are dermatotoxins that affect the skin. The device we're using in these photos is called a swing sampler. Yes, you can collect a sample without one, but a swing sampler makes the process easier and safer. These often come with telescoping poles, so you can take a sample 12 or 18 feet away from where you're standing. Take your sample in a foot deep, put your sample a foot deep in the water, and this is called a grab sample. Note, if you have mat-forming cyanobacteria, you're not going to scoop it up with a little bucket. You're going to cut a little piece off with a face mask and gloves. A little more on swing samplers. In the past, I would have directed you to a scientific supply house, but you can get everything on Amazon these days. So, also, I've heard of people making their own do-it-yourself samplers using a broom handle and a plastic milk jug on the end. Use your imagination. Just don't get in the water without tall enough boots or put yourself in a position where you might fall into the water while collecting a sample. Cyanobacteria move up and down in the water column using aerotypes or air vacuoles. So they fill up with air, some of them, and let the air release. They have no flagellum or other means of swimming about, and so they will move around your lake with the wind and the currents. Ideally, you want to take a sample at the shoreline and then paddle out to the middle of the lake because you don't want to use a motorboat that produces, it aerates the toxin into the air, and you don't want to breathe it directly into your lungs. This takes a lot of time for a volunteer. So what I usually do is my pier is 60 feet long. So I get the shore, and then I get 60 feet out. On the end there, you can see we did the shore 60 feet and all the way to the center. The wind will push the cyanobacteria to the shore, and you can see it's at the shore. It's not a whole lake bloom. It's not even 60 feet out. The middle one, yes, we did have a whole lake bloom. Last one, no, just at the shore. The jar test. So if you leave your sample refrigerated and undisturbed overnight, the cyanobacteria will usually rise to the top. My samples rise to the top in under an hour. But Oh, I have that one. Okay, toxin testing. So, for the last 6 years, I've been using the industry standard. It's an Abraxas strip test, but we have switched this year to the 5 strands blue-green test. And it sounds really unscientific, but I'll explain. The gold standards test, it's hard to purchase. You have to go online, you have to send them an email, they'll send you a quote. You have to buy it in a package of 5 or 20. This is a package of 20, and this costs about $700. The time to run the test is about 35 minutes, and it gives you a gradient test. So you have a little idea of if you have a no microcystin, a little microcystin, or over the 8 parts per billion that we're watching for. The 5 strands is easy to purchase. You can go out to Amazon, click, and you can buy just one kit. It's $31 per kit, depending on the fluctuation at Amazon. I've seen it as low as $19, and you can run your test in 18 minutes. This is what the gold standards diagnostic. At the end, you get a strip that goes into your solution, and you need a control line on your left. If there's no control line, you have to throw it out. And then the test line indicates how many parts per billion you have. When the test line disappears, then you report. Here's what they look like in reality, though. It's hard to read and not exact by any means. But as you see, you do get some idea of darker to lighter and disappearing. Here's the 5 strands kit, the cheap and quick Amazon kit. It's like a COVID test or a pregnancy test. And it's going to indicate that you have some microcystin or no microcystin. So you have no idea if you've got like 4 parts per billion and it's not over the limit. But I'm going to say that just because the 5 drops that I'm testing in front of my lake is not over the 8 parts per billion, I could go 2 doors down and they do. You know, this is an ecosystem. So I think it's valid to know that there is microcystin, even if you're not sure the level. Oh, testing. Oh, this is fun. All right. So I haven't done this before because we haven't done a live workshop yet. But I have, here's my water. There's my swing sampler, and I have gotten a sample for you this morning. Actually, last night. It's nice and cold now. This water was so warm yesterday. You could feel it. It's just nice conditions. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to do this together. Does that sound fun? All right. Everybody needs a mask and a pair of gloves. I've got 3 test kits there, so we need teams working on the 3 kits. A mask and a pair of gloves. So the first step, it says fill your container with water for testing. We've already done that. Step 2, open your kit and take out your sample jar. And open a perforated hole in your box. It's coming. So there was supposed to be a little perforation on this. I The box. See, I had one on the kit I had at home, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see it. Well, plate. All right. We need one partner team at a time. Come up here. You're going to submerge your little goodie in here, and you're going to time it 15 seconds, and then you're going to fish it out. Oh, thank you, Jim. Here you go. Save the day. Don't. Then you're going to put your jar on your plate and set your timer for 10 minutes. When your timer goes off, you're going to use your pipette. You're going to reach into that water, and you're going to put 3 drops here. So how many people have a toxic sample? All right, let's get rid of it. How toxic? Remember, 8 parts per billion or 8 micrograms per liter is considered toxic to human adults. Something to remember that a lesser amount is toxic to children and also to dogs. So dogs, if dogs go swimming in a cyanobacteria bloom, they drink. They go and they play. Blah, 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 and they drink the water. Then they get out of the water, and what do? They clean themselves off. So dogs are particularly susceptible. The gold standards and the 5-strand field test will give you a reading of 8, 9, or so in Lake County, where I live, we have an awesome lakes unit at the Lake County Health Department. So when I have a toxic test, I bring it to them, and they send it to the IEPA. The IEPA currently has a grant they're working under, and they will run toxin tests for other toxins and get back to me 10 days to 2 weeks later, which is valuable information that I keep track of. It's totally useless for telling my neighbors, did you swim 2 weeks ago? It was really bad. We don't do that.
Hey, Gloria, so the 5 strands test, how do we know if it's 8, 9, or 10?
We don't. But
But you say
this was in front of my house. So the amount of microcystin is going to vary around the lake. So even if we did know that this sample was only 4 parts per billion, we would want to warn our neighbors, because in front of their house it could be more toxic.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's a big lake. Long Lake has had readings as high as 10,900 parts per billion microcystin. Jim?
Yeah, Gloria, going back to 2017, the value that I had seen in the literature and in the safe was 200,000 micrograms.
I couldn't find that one, but thank you, Jim. I'll get that from you for the next presentation. All right. Early warning email. So when I have a toxic sample, this is what I send out to all the residents on Long Lake. Do you want me to read it? Yeah. All right. Hi, water warriors. There is a toxic algal bloom on Long Lake today. At Northwest Long Lake, it tested positive for microcystin at a level toxic to human adults, children, dogs, and other animals. The water in front of your house could be more or less toxic. As always, when in doubt, stay out and keep dogs and children away from the scum on the beaches. Remember, boating activities that produce a spray can result in toxins going directly into lung tissue. Have a nice day, Gloria. The next thing I want you to do, you can scan this QR code, and you've got it in your notebooks, and report this to the Illinois EPA HABs team. They're just going to log it, but This is valuable. If someone wants to know where are their blooms, are blooms a problem, you want it official. Another thing,
Quick question, Gloria.
Yes.
Can you do that anonymously, or do you have to put your name, email?
they want our names, they do. I've never tried doing it anonymously. You could probably give them a fake name, they wouldn't know. But, well, why hide? I don't know.
Right.
It's me. It's me, the water princess. So that's the Illinois EPA HAB report. Yeah, they want photographs. They will not consider it a completed form without photographs. Oh, and we learned this. And then you can also report suspected blooms to the US EPA via their Bloom Watch app. So this is something you put on your phone. And if you live in DuPage County and it's at their forest preserve, they want to know. Go DuPage County. So, as I mentioned before, the National Sierra Club Harmful Algal Blooms team received a grant to start a citizen scientist group. If you are interested in receiving 3 free kits, joining a listserv with notices of webinars, conferences, and articles about HABs, learning how to identify Cyanobacteria species using a microscope, which we're actually doing after lunch, and joining a Google group with other citizen scientists to discuss your findings. Then take a snapshot of this QR code. The form's about 10 seconds to fill out. It's like name, address, email, and we'll get that to you. And I think, and I don't have this last slide on this one. In the nicest way possible, I want you to contact your county representatives, your mayor, your state rep, state senator. Hey, I'm Gloria, I live on Long Lake. I know you're aware we have this problem, but I'm going to be informing you every time we have a toxic bloom on Long Lake, just so you know. So, we're not haranguing him or her. And then include them in your toxic bloom on Long Lake today emails, so that they're regularly getting this, oh gosh, this is a problem, and I think that's all I got. And we have 2 minutes for questions. Hi, Connor.
How does the storage of the sample matter? Like, how long could you have waited to test that water? And are there
About 3 days in your refrigerator.
Okay.
And if you live with somebody who's willing, you want to crack the top.
Okay.
Yeah. And any other questions? Yes.
I have a couple of comments, if that's okay.
Yes, please.
One, EPA does a lot of monitoring for US EPA for how people come in contact with water recreationally. And there's a long record of that going back because they're interested in disinfection byproducts, not just HABs. The disinfection byproducts people a few years ago, about 3 years ago, shared a paper that if you are an adult and you're swimming for exercise, a typical adult, as far as they've been able to tell from measures, ingests about 400 milliliters, which is about a cup of water every 20 minutes they spend in the water swimming.
Wow.
So
Even an
if you
adult.
think there's anything in the lake, even if you're like, I'm being super careful, I'm not gonna drink the water, you aren't, okay? You're just not that careful, you're not designed to be that way, because you have to open your mouth and gasp when you're swimming, you're gonna ingest it. With respect to the scum on the side of the lake, which normally you would think would be repellent to people, and it is, it turns out a lot of HABs concentrate salt in them, and as the scum dries, that turns into nice, leathery, salty chews for dogs. Okay, so when you hear about people talking about dog deaths as an early warning sign for HABs, that's because the dogs literally take this old HAB material that's concentrated, super concentrated because it dried out on the shore, and they gnaw on it to get the salt out. okay? Dogs will gnaw on disgusting things.
Yes.
So if you see anything like that, please be super careful, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, last, I'm
one
sorry.
more.
We did a citizen science program in South Carolina where we were doing a lot of Hab sampling. Some of the Hab toxins are volatile. And so with respect to keeping the lid cracked on the bottle, first, please don't store it in a food refrigerator, okay? We don't do science where we eat, right? Just engrave that on the back of your eyelids so you see that every time you close your eyes.
Ignore that for lunch. That's an aside for lunch.
We're going to wash the tables before we eat.
Yeah, so if you have a refrigerator like out in the garage, that maybe is a beer fridge that nobody ever has open food in. But you never keep an open can of beer in the fridge, right? That would just be nasty. So just be mindful of that, okay? When we did our citizen science group, I ended up finding that one of our participants, who was an amateur brewer, was trying to cultivate yeast in his fridge. And he had yeast cultivating in open petri dishes next to his Hab samples. And just everything about that is bad. So just be careful for that, please. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Thank you. Great reminder.